Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott, and today we are painting the Buccephaloi, which is the newest brute unit for the Old Dominion army in Conquest: The Last Argument of Kings. I'm super excited with the way these have turned out, so let's go ahead and dive into how I painted these models. To get these models ready for painting, I've primed them using Ultra Matte Black Paint Plus Primer from Rust-Oleum, but you could use other colors such as gray if you wanted to. We're going to start this project off by painting all of the skin using Mechanicus Standard Gray from Citadel. Once that gray is in place, we're going to take Wazdakka Red and we're going to use this as the base color for any exposed muscle or organs or any other rotten flesh that is hanging out of this model. Now that we have both of those base colors in place, we're going to take Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to do a heavy wash of this over all of the gray skin on the model, but we are not painting this over the Wazdakka Red. We're going to use Agrax Earthshade as the wash for all of the red exposed flesh on the model. We're not going to go quite as heavy with this as we did with the Reikland Fleshshade, because we don't want to darken down the red too much. Once those layers of shade have dried, we're going to take Dawnstone and we're going to layer this back over the raised ridges of the muscle on all of the gray skin across the model. Our next step is to take Karak Stone. We're going to water this down so that it has the consistency of a glaze, and we're going to layer this over the most raised ridges on the skin on this model. For the rotten flesh on the model, we're going to take Screamer Pink. We're going to use this to layer over all the raised ridges of those exposed muscles. Once we're happy with that layer of pink, we're going to take Deamonette Hide and we're going to use this to catch the sharpest edges on the rotten flesh of the model. This will give it a more bruised and rotten appearance. Now that we're done with the flesh on the model, we're going to take Morghast Bone and we're going to use this as the base color for any exposed bone that appears on these models. Once we're happy with that base color, we're going to take Contrast Skeleton Horde and we're going to use this as the wash over all of the bone on the model. Once that shade is dried, we're going to take Ushabti Bone and we're going to layer this over the raised ridges of the bone on the model, but we're not going to paint this in any of the recesses because we want that darker brown to stay in those recesses. Next, we're going to take Screaming Skull, and we're going to use this to highlight the sharpest edges of the bone on the model. Now that we're done with the bone, we're going to take Dryad Bark, and we're going to use this as the base color for any hair that appears on the models. We're going to shade all of the hair on the model using Athonian Camoshade. Once that shade is dried, we're going to highlight the hair using a mixture of Baneblade Brown and Deathworld Forest mixed in with the original brown that we used as the base color for the hair. This is going to give the hair a somewhat green tone to it. Now we're ready to begin working on the armor on the model. We're going to use copper from Pro Acryl as the base color for all of the main plate armor on the model. We're going to use Leadbelcher as the base color for all of the trim that appears across the armor on this model, as well as the scale mail that hangs around the waist. We're also going to want to paint the weapon of the model at this time. Our next step is to take Mephiston Red, and we're going to use this as the base color for all of the clothing that can be found on these models. We're also going to take Rhinox Hide, and we're going to use this as the base color for any leather that can be found across the model. We'll also use this color as the base color for the horns. With those base colors in place, we're going to take Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to use this to wash all of the colors we've painted in the past few steps, except for the red. We're going to do a different color for that in the next step. We're going to use Carroburg Crimson as our shade for all of the red fabric on the model. At this point, we're ready to start weathering the armor. We're going to start by taking Nihilakh Oxide. We're going to apply this to all of the copper armor on the model. This applies much the same way as a wash, but it is a little bit thicker, so we have a little bit more control over where it deposits. For the iron armor, we're going to use a mixture of Contrast Gryph Hound Orange and Agrax Earthshade. We're going to layer this up over 3 or 4 coats, glazing it into the spots where we want it to appear the most aggressively on the model. Once we're happy with the way we've layered that orange-brown wash, we're going to take Troll Slayer Orange, and we're going to do a mixture of dry brushing and stippling with this color to build up the rust in its heaviest spots where the orange should be the brightest. Now that we're done weathering the armor, it's time to go back to the fabric on the model. We're going to use Evil Sunz Scarlet and layer this over all the wrinkles and raised ridges on the fabric. Next, we're going to take Wild Rider Red. We're going to do an additional layer of highlighting. This time, we're only highlighting the sharpest edges on the fabric. Once we've finished up with the highlighting on the cloth, we're going to take Baneblade Brown. We're going to use this to edge highlight all the leather on the model. We're also going to use this to layer over the horns on the model. We're making sure to leave stripes of the darker brown showing through this lighter tan color. Our next step is to take Karak Stone, and we're going to do more highlighting on the horns using this color, but we're only doing a handful of stripes. This is mainly to help break up and add variety to the horns. Now we're going to take Dawnstone, and we're going to use this as the base color for the face that appears on the headdress of each Minotaur. Once we're happy with that base coat, we're going to take Seraphim Sepia, and we're going to do a light wash of this over the gray part of the headdress. After we've allowed that shade to dry, we're going to take Grace here, and we're going to layer this over all of the flat and raised surfaces of this face on the headdress. Once that's done, we're going to take Corax White. We're going to do a layer of edge highlighting, focusing on the sharpest ridges on the face and any details that we want to accentuate with this color. All that's left to do on this model are the eyes. We're going to use Celestra Grey as the base color for the eyes. Just be careful not to get this on any of the flesh or bone that appears around the eye socket. Our final step in this project is to take Druchii Violet, and we're going to use this to shade the eyes. Now, we're going to be generous with this color, but we're also going to maintain control over the wash and make sure we don't get this too aggressively on the areas around the eyes. And with that, we've finished painting the Buccephaloi. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I want to thank Parabellum Games for sending me this kit early so that I could paint it for you. We wouldn't be able to do videos like this without them. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and then join my Discord so that you can chat with me whenever you'd like. I'd like to give a special shout out to my channel members that make videos like this possible. If you would like to become a channel member, hit the join button below this video. As always, have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in the next one.